What's up, well, this is your boy Tommy Mab, and I came to just do a quick little pop in because this is just, some of this stuff to me just makes little to no sense. Right now, the whole narrative, like I said before, but what you have to realize when you are a fan in general is that you gotta realize that that's how it works, right? When your team is winning, you get to talk junk, you know what I'm saying? And when your team starts losing, it's time to eat crow. So that's generally how things work. You know what I mean? It's like so it's like if you are a Laker fan and you watching it, and everybody and their mom know that this is not a larger indictment on the Lakers in general. That they can't. They're struggling. Well, it's not really struggling. They say that they keep saying they lost 2 out of the last 4 games, but they lost to the Miami Heat by 2 points, and they just went to OT. And everybody's saying they lost to the Wizards, but the Wizards, I told people at the beginning of the year, the Wizards, that COVID situation put them behind. But the Wizards are a good team. Last night it was annoying to me because I've been rooting for the Wizards all year. I love Russell Westbrook. My 2 favorite players to watch are LeBron James and Russell Westbrook. Like, I love watching those two because Russell Westbrook is such, at his size, to be such a dominant force all over the court. And people try to say, oh, well, he does this and he does that. No, Russell Westbrook is a gamer. Like, Russell Westbrook is one of those players that anybody in this, you can say whatever you want, but there ain't nobody in the NBA that would want that dude in a foxhole. You know what Russell Westbrook gonna give you every time he go out, and now he has somebody who he can trust to do the same thing. Since people say, well, he had KD, but KD is a talented individual. He's not a dog like Russell Westbrook. He's not a dude. He's not a lunch pail guy. He's more of a supremely talented guy. And I think for once Russell Westbrook is finally with a lunch pail guy. I mean, a guy who's gonna show up every day, gonna be busting his butt just like he does. It's hard to see. And now the one thing that they did that made them so freaking good was they finally inserted Mo Wagner into the starting lineup. That changed the whole dynamic of that team. So now you got 3 guys who are hustle guys. Like, all 3 of those guys are hustles. Like, Mo Wagner is a hard worker. He's gonna make you work on the rebound. He's gonna bust his butt on the defensive side. And then they brought in that other little guard, you know what I'm saying, who's also a little pit bull. So defensively, they don't have the problem with them. At the beginning of the year was defensively. When they put Mo Wagner into the starting lineup, they fixed it. Now they're no longer a liability defensively. They're more of a complete team, and that's why they're beating all these good teams. The Lakers was not the only good team they beat in this 5-game road trip. They beat a lot of good teams, and it's because they're finally getting defense. They always had a real good offense, but they just were like the Nets. Like, either they outscored you or they lost. But now that with Mo Wagner, their defenses has been shored up. Their rebounding and defense has been shored up. And you got 2 guys like Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook put so much pressure on the entire court because his vision and his vision and his passing. And then it helps Bradley Beal because Russell Westbrook is going to utilize everybody on the team. He's going to utilize the guy rolling to the basket. He's going to utilize the wide open 3 with his he's going to use his athleticism to get room, and he's going to make you pay. So I'm not mad. Do I think that game would have been close if they had Anthony Davis? No, because Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis. But to sit there and say that the Lakers are technically they lost 3 of their last 5 or something like that, but it's not because they they're struggling. They're going in, when you going into All-Star, for some strange reason, when people get to the All-Star weekend, they kind of start to just kind of dwindle off because it's like they're ready for their break. So, especially when you're the Lakers and you went straight in from last year playing in the bubble to straight out. So it's probably going to be a little worse with them. I'm not worried. The fact that the Jimmy Butler came out talking, see, this is what we had to deal with. If I hear one more person say that the Heat didn't have Bam Adebayo in the finals, Bam Adebayo, unless you don't remember, did play in the finals. Almost every game he played in, they got demolished. Okay, so stop using that they didn't have Bam Adebayo. The second thing is like, oh, we didn't have Goran Dragic. Goran Dragic, I'm sorry, is not the type of player you're going to sit up there and say you need him. He's not, against a good defense, he's not good. He's only good when most of the time when he can penetrate. He's not a knockdown shooter. His shot comes and goes. I do not think he would have added much to that series, but if you want to throw that in there, then fine, throw that in there. But to say Bam, they were lost, they were down 2 starters. Come on, dude, seriously. Bam Adebayo played in that series. He just got big. He was ineffective against Anthony Davis and LeBron James. He just was. So that's why I trip on narratives a lot of times. Because narratives rarely tell you the story. They tell you the story that that person is telling it wants to tell. So Jimmy Butler wants to believe that they would have won the NBA playoffs if they had Bam Adebayo and whatchamacallit. And they was lucky not, but to everybody with common sense, they were lucky not to lose 4-1 in that series. Right? He had to have a Herculean effort. Now you can say, well, he wouldn't have had to do that. But the game with Bam, the first game when Dragic and Adebayo played in, they got destroyed. It wasn't even close. So to make the argument that they would have been better off with Goran Dragic, who is a worse defender, to me it's just retarded. I mean, you get a tiny bit more offense, but you lose a lot on the defensive end because you're playing a guy, Goran Dragic, at point guard, and he ain't guard nobody. So say what you want to say. Jimmy Butler is delusional if he believes that they had a chance of beating the Lakers. No, y'all didn't. Y'all would not have beat the Lakers because y'all ain't had no big man who could play. You can't put Kelly Olynyk on Anthony Davis, and you can't put Bam Adebayo on Anthony Davis. It's just retarded. Y'all did a smart thing because y'all have a really smart coach in Eric Spoelstra, and y'all were able to play spread ball, and it kind of bought y'all a game at like 2 games. But I mean, it's as far as like the actual series goes, though, I think if they would have probably played with Goran Dragic, they probably got swept because his minutes would have been a lot of the minutes that they used to expand leads. So, but that's just my opinion on it. What else? Who else? What else I want to talk about? You got Goran Dragic. The Heat. So the Miami Heat, they lost by 2 points. I mean, this game, they played a hot Wizards team who has been tearing it, been on a tear as of late. Because they know they got every game matters because that COVID situation threw them off. They like, people don't understand the Wizards are not a bad team, and I said that. Go back to my video. I said the Wizards are a good team. I said they're gonna beat a lot of people. The Wizards are a very good team. Right now, they had to deal with that COVID situation, which really slanted people's view of how good of a team they were. Everybody jumping on Russell Westbrook and stuff like that, and I was like, they're gonna be all right. Because I saw the game they were losing. The game they losing, they weren't getting blown off the floor until that COVID situation started. And the COVID situation started, they just, at the beginning of the year, they just had a very, very tough schedule. So they were barely losing to good teams. And then all of a sudden, the COVID situation happened, where they only had like 7 healthy players. So now they're going into games with no bench. 7, and Bryant got hurt. Once Bryant got hurt, it threw everything off. So now that team that was all right, they didn't have they lost they had a bunch of people hurt, injuries, Russell Westbrook being one of those people, and in an offense that was just out of sync, in a defense that was out of sync, because they didn't have time to practice, they didn't have time to work playing games. They all their games were being postponed because of the COVID situation for like 2 weeks. So when they finally got enough people healthy to actually play a game, they're going to be behind everybody else, because everybody else has been playing and getting used to playing with each other and running their sets and getting chemistry. The Wizards can do that. So the Wizards started out behind the ball, the 8 ball. So they had to work, and now they're finally starting to come together with Scott Brooks and Beal and Westbrook, and they're starting to know where everybody is in their sweet spots. And Bertan is starting to go on, and they've instituted Mo Wagner into the starting lineup, because I always liked him coming off the bench, because I thought his motor helped him. You got a guy like Russell Westbrook. You can't have a guy like Brook Lopez who's trailing behind the guy the entire time. It just doesn't work that well. So they got smart. They're like, okay, we're gonna play Mo Wagner, who is a high energy guy. He runs and Westbrook finds him. And so now you got a guy who guns and it makes a big move. So now Westbrook can either take it to the rim, shoot it for the 3, or dump it if the big man comes out to try to protect the rim. And it's hard to stop when you have a guy that you have to double in Bradley Beal. And really two guys, because you got to double Westbrook, because if you don't, he's just going to run around you. So you got that, and then you got Bradley Beal, who is possibly playing the best basketball in the NBA right now, as far as offensively. So, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, when I saw that they were playing the Wizards, I was like, that's a bad matchup for them right now. They just don't have a big man right now, and you need a big man when you're going against Russell Westbrook and a guy like Bradley Beal, who are supremely athletic. So I knew I think LeBron tried to do everything he could do, but at the same time, he was the direct result of how they scored in that last minute, partially. I mean, not all his fault. I mean, because if you really look at the play, he thought that they were going to foul immediately. They didn't. For some strange reason, Caruso, who's a smart player, didn't want to foul Bertan because he's a good free throw shooter. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you want to foul a guy like Russell Westbrook, and it ended up working. But nobody thought that that Bertan was dumb enough to pass it to Russell Westbrook. So it was almost like his stupidity ended up helping the Wizards, because LeBron and Caruso's IQ, both high, made snap decisions that were smart decisions, but but negligent. Caruso didn't foul Bertan immediately because he was trying to force him to pass it out. But if Bertans would have waited like 2 more seconds, Caruso would have had to foul him. So Bertans' stupidity actually ended up leading to a good, smart play, because Russell Westbrook was already cutting to the basket. And when Russell Westbrook was cutting to the basket, LeBron thought that he was Caruso was gonna foul Bertans, and when he didn't, he was caught off guard when he passed Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is one of the quickest players in the league. LeBron reached to grab him, but it was too late. He had already got by it. So you can say it was a bad play, but I can easily see why LeBron did what he did. It was like, oh, we stuck. They got Bertan. So yes, he shouldn't have. I said it was his fault. He shouldn't have got lazy on defense. But I think it was understandable, because he thought that he was going to foul the Bertan. And when he didn't foul him, he kind of got caught in no man's land. Because there was no communication from Caruso. But there doesn't need to be communication. You're supposed to know you're not supposed to let your man go. So LeBron definitely screwed up on that play. But the Wizards are no joke. You know what I'm saying? The Wizards are on a 5-game win streak for a reason. They beat the Nets twice for a reason. They're a good team, right? When people would say, well, the Nets lost to the Wizards, I always be like, what? The Wizards are a good team. They just had to deal with the COVID situation and stuff like that. So anytime someone would say the Wizards, like, how can you lose to the Wizards? I remember thinking in my mind, like that, the Wizards are a good team. Like, did you not see them before the whole COVID situation hit? They were barely losing to some very good teams. But that's what happens. That's the NBA. It's all about chemistry and timing, and sometimes people hit their strides. I think they're better built to compete in the East than the Nets, in my opinion, are. Because in my opinion, the Nets are built largely around scoring. And when you play, when you have a bulldog at the point guard like Russell Westbrook, and a bulldog on a defensive side like Bradley Beal, and now you institute a guy like Mo Wagner, who is a very high energy, very lunch pail. You got 3 lunch pail guys who are hard workers. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to work for every shot you get. Like, you watched the Lakers last night, they weren't getting open shots, and that's the thing. Like, it's like against the Nets, they were just clanking wide open shots. That's a completely different story than when they're playing the Wizards. The Wizards can guard you. They can really guard you, and when you're going to shoot, you didn't see the Lakers with a lot of wide open shots. Even on that last play, LeBron had no shot. Like when he went to shoot it, he had to shoot it from further back, and it was a good. It was a pretty good shot at it, but it was a bad shot. They know LeBron's gonna shoot it in that instance, so they're not gonna come off their guys, and Russell Westbrook just really has to stand back and force him to shoot it. And LeBron shot it. It was a good look at it. It just didn't go down. That happens. I mean, he's hit two shots like that in the last freaking 8 games, and so people can try to spin it as in whatever way they lose, because that's what they do with LeBron. They always spin everything. But as far as the Lakers concerned, what's my threat or my concern about them losing? Not high at all. My mindset was the Wizards at the very least was going to give them a good game. At the worst, they were going to beat them. So you know what I'm saying. So I wasn't surprised at all by the fact that the Wizards beat them, because I think the Wizards are a good team. Anybody who's watching my videos know that I think the Wizards are a good team. I think the Heat are a good team when they're healthy. But that's why I said once again, when they talk about the Nets beating the Heat, Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero did not play against the Nets. So it's very easy to beat the Nets without Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler. Okay, so another misleading thing in that 10-1 thing is that they a lot of teams they were playing were dealing with COVID, were dealing with injuries. So as I said before, the regular season is a terrible barometer on how good a team is, because most of the time, that's why the Heat came in last year and just blew by all those teams that everybody thought was good, because the Heat are deep and they're very well coached by Eric Spoelstra. So them losing by 2 points, where pretty much they missed a wide open, Caruso missed a wide open 2-pointer. It's like, good. If you want to hang your hat on that, if you're Jimmy Butler, then go ahead and do that. But to me, it's just a testament of how little payback a lot of people get against LeBron. It's like, I think LeBron has hit 3 game winners on Jimmy Butler, and then Jimmy Butler to be talking junk after you pretty much turned the ball over, because that wasn't the person throwing it in's fault. Jimmy Butler got to box out LeBron. He didn't box out LeBron. He lazily went for the pass, and that's how LeBron was able to tip it away from him. So Jimmy Butler, LeBron has been torturing that dude his entire career. So he had to try to find a semblance of light in that tunnel. The truth of the matter is, dude, y'all wouldn't have beat the Lakers. Just like the Nets, everybody plays to them. Every time somebody plays LeBron, in their mind, it's the Super Bowl, and LeBron is just like a regular game. Like, LeBron's like, oh yeah, okay, we don't have this, we don't have that. I know it's gonna be a tough outing for us. Everybody else ready. You know what I'm saying? LeBron's sitting up there like, dude, we got right at this point. It was an experiment. Marc Gasol is a great passing big man, but he's not great with athletic. We need an athletic big. We have no athletic big, because really, Montrezl Harrell is supposed to be a 4. He's not a real 5. So when you're having problems with a long athletic big, the worst person to put on them is Marc Gasol, because Marc Gasol is not athletic, and they are quick to call a foul on Marc Gasol. The man literally doesn't even jump half the time. He just put his arms up. People go into him, they call a foul every time because of the way his body is built. I think a lot of times they don't think he's athletic enough to make a lot of blocks he makes. So they'll call him on a lot of fouls when he didn't foul the person. Like you'll see Marc Gasol will block the ball clean, but because of the way his body is built, it looks like it's a foul because he doesn't jump. So it's almost like when you ever see someone when they're bringing the ball up and someone slap it, they always call a foul. No matter, they don't see the foul, but they just assume the person had the foul because it's so quick, and then the person just slaps the ball. So it's like a jerking motion. So it automatically looks like they fouled. And Marc Gasol is good at using his body and staying on the ground and still blocking shots. And they use it to his detriment. They called him for fouls, a lot of phantom fouls, and then when you look at the replay, he didn't foul anybody. It was a clean block, but because of the way his body is and the way he stays on the ground when he blocks, it's like food for refs. But I think Gasol is a good addition. But he's older now, and I think you do need someone to alleviate those situations when you're playing guys who will roll into the rim a lot, because Marc Gasol has to come out and then he has to roll back around, and that's not an easy task for a guy who's in the later stages of his career. I think all you need to do is bring in a younger big that you can substitute in certain games and kind of give him spells so that he's not the only big man, you know what I'm saying, that we got on the roster that's actually playing the big man. Like I said before, Montrezl Harrell is a great big man. He played well last night as well. And I forgot him against the Nets. Montrezl Harrell needed to get the ball more against the Nets. And I don't think that there was enough of a concentrated effort to get him the ball against the Nets. But he played well last night. But like I said, you win some, you lose some. Sometimes you're just gonna run into a hot team that's hot, and the Wizards are, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. It's how it rolls. You know, the dice roll sometimes, and you end up playing a hot team, and it just happened to be at the worst possible time to play that hot team. But as I said before, like I also keep seeing this narrative. Oh, everybody was talking about how deep the Lakers are. Now everybody making excuses. The Lakers are deep. The fact they're able to still compete in a lot of these games when Anthony Davis is out shows that they are a very deep team. They're just not deep at the center position. They really rely on what Anthony Davis does in the middle. Every other position, they're extremely deep. They're just not deep at that position. The one person they couldn't afford to get hurt is hurt. But if they lost Caruso, they're good. If they lost Kyle Kuzma, they're good. They lost Wesley Matthews, they're good. They lost KCP, they're good. If you lose almost any other position on the team, they're good. But when you lose Schroeder and you lose Anthony Davis, first you lose a lot when you lose Anthony Davis because he's your only really big man, and he's not even really good at a power big man. They still need another athletic, powerful big man. Like Dwight Howard would have been a good addition. That's why I didn't like when they got rid of Dwight Howard. But I also think that was Dwight Howard's decision. I don't think they let Dwight Howard go. I think Dwight Howard said he was going to sign with the Lakers again, and then a situation came up where the Sixers offered to pay him more, so he went to the Sixers. I don't think the Lakers either gave him an offer and then pulled it back. So I don't know which one of those stories is true. All I do know is that Dwight Howard would have been a great addition, and I don't know why they got rid of him. Because if they could have got him for cheap, I guess their mindset was he's not going to get a lot of playing time unless we're playing a team, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be happy with that. Whatever his reasoning was for why it wasn't the smartest idea. Because You had already gotten rid of JaVale McGee. You needed an athletic big man. In my humble opinion, it wasn't a smart idea to do it the way they did it. But that being said, the Lakers are not in a bad shape. I think when they get Schroeder back, they'll be a lot better defensively. Even though they're not, like I said, they're not. It's not like teams are scoring. It's like the Nets, where teams are scoring 130 points on them. They're still a high rated defense. They're still doing really good on the defensive side of the ball. Problem is that when you're playing with smaller people, you know what I'm saying, it's harder to control, you know what I'm saying, you can't get everything you want. It's almost like you take a piece off the board. Now you have to work. You still have a lot of things at your disposal, but you don't have the easiest thing at your disposal, and that can be a problem. Anthony Davis can make up for a lot on the defensive end. He can come out and guard you on the wing, and can be one of the better perimeter defenders, and yet he can still stand on the goal and be one of the better rim protectors. So I think when it comes down to it, the thing that that Lakers fans have to take solace is in the fact that we understand that Anthony Davis is a huge piece. And all these people who are trying to come at AD throughout the year, and I kept trying to stress to people, like, Anthony Davis's talent does not come in him giving you 30 points a game, even though he can do that. His talent, you good? His talent comes from being put in a position where he has to guard multiple positions. His defense is the thing that makes him super elite. Now his offense makes him elite as well, but his defense makes him extremely elite. You can make up for what Anthony does on the offensive side. You cannot make up for what Anthony Davis does on the defensive side. You just can't. He's too good. He is too pivotal to what the Lakers do defensively. And he still doesn't take away from what they get offensively. So I think I'm glad that he is hurt, because it let a lot of these people who were jumping on his back and coming at AD, saying AD needs to play better, AD needs to play better. And the whole time people screaming, AD is playing well. He's just not playing well. He's just not going out getting 30 points a game like he was last year, but he's still doing his thing. He's still defensively killing it. And I think now people will get a chance to see how valuable Anthony Davis truly is with this injury. And maybe they'll relax on the offensive side. I'm relaxed on it when he get back and be just proud, happy y'all got a great talent like him. Because I think people can get spoiled. You know what I mean? Oh, it ain't good enough for you to be playing great defense. We need you to be scoring 40 points a game. It's like, really, we do? Because we don't. We got the scoring we need. The reason why he's not scoring 40 points a game is because he doesn't have to anymore. You guys averaging 22 and 8. It's not like he's averaging 13 points. Or he'll have his games where he'll go for 40. He'll have his game where he go for 30. He just doesn't have to do that every game. Same thing with LeBron. LeBron was averaging almost a triple-double last year. He doesn't have to do that this year. His minutes were down. Everything was going good for the Lakers. And AD got hurt. And now you're stuck in this situation where you don't really... now all these people who had access to the grind are now back talking shit, like, because they know LeBron's by himself and they don't have a big man. So, as I said before, the Wizards are a good team. Not surprised by the fact that they stuck in and beat the Lakers. It's not surprising at all. So please comment, let me know what y'all think. Thumbs it up if you like it. All right, y'all. Peace.